I hate asking for help. I'm not asking for any handouts, but I'm a small business owner that is directly being affected by the 104% tariff that has been put on China. I import alloy wheels for cars, and I do somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 containers a year, which is a small business in regards to this industry. At 104%, I am absolutely going to implode and will not last 6 months. So with that said, I'm asking, is there anybody out there that has connections with manufacturing facilities, specifically alloy wheels, either in the United States or outside in these lesser tariffed countries like Mexico?
You voted for this. Are we winning? All I have to say is thoughts and liquidations. Y'all will cut off your nose to spite your face just so that you can hate. Congratulations. You played yourself.
I never thought I was going to lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000.
Yeah.
He says raw honey is considered a luxury good, similar to organic vegetables. As prices rise,
I don't know what that's going to do to consumers.
We have some big news right now. Donald Trump's tariffs on China are impacting farmers the most, and many of them have buyer's remorse for even voting for Donald Trump in the first place. One of the top products that is tariffed is the U.S. soybean, and U.S. soybean exports, according to CNN, are now subject to a total tariff of 135% because of the 10% tariff imposed in March, along with the 125% tariff announced last week. If you recall, back in 2018, the winner of the first U.S.-China trade war wasn't U.S. farmers, but rather Brazil, because Brazil became the world's leading soybean exporter. And since then, exports to China have grown 280%, while U.S. exports have remained flat. Many soybean farmers in the Midwest actually voted for Donald Trump. They come from states that are red states that voted for Donald Trump consistently, both in 2016 and in 2024. And Trump had long promised exemptions or support for farmers, but they haven't received any bailouts just yet. And some are now even having buyer's remorse because their businesses are going to suffer because they can't export the number of soybeans that they were before.
At 104%, I am absolutely going to implode and will not last 6 months.
TikTok has been filled the last few days with a lot of small business owners talking about this very problem. And I want to have empathy for them. But the ones who voted for Trump, you voted for this. And this isn't like a fuck around and find out thing. This is affecting everyone. And your comment that this is affecting me and it's going to tank my business, I sure hope this is best for the economy, shows that you weren't really listening during the election when you made your decision. And it's a little hard for me to have a lot of sympathy. You came on here asking people for help to find other countries that have lesser tariffs so that you can circumvent the problem that's been created by the person that you elected for your own benefit. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I'm a lot more sorry for the people who didn't vote for this, who didn't ask for this, and who understood what was going to happen.
Either in the United States or outside in these lesser tariffed countries.
Did you not know about the tariffs when you voted for him? You didn't know? I mean, you import products, and he's telling you he's going to add tariffs, and you still voted for him? So the one you voted for hurt you and your family by crippling your means of making a living. All while he's in the White House laughing and bragging about how much he made his billionaire friends. But your vote didn't only hurt you, it hurt millions of other people. Worse than you. And he's only been in office 3 months. People like me voted to help you and your family. You voted to hurt other people. And I noticed you still follow some right-wing bullshit. The ones who put these ideas in your head. You still follow them, and you're not really calling out Trump. Something tells me you would vote for him again. But I like to help people. I have a friend whose brother owns a warehouse in Guadalajara, Mexico. It's called Primo Wheel Warehouse.
Wait, what's this I hear? Trump supporters are making videos and tweeting that they're upset with Trump because of the stock market crashing and the fact that they're losing money from their businesses. They're saying that this is not what they voted for. thoughts and concepts to y'all, okay? Thoughts and concepts to y'all. This is what y'all voted for.
I feel like the past 24 hours has just been a complete nightmare. 104% on imports coming from China. 104%. And that means my small business that I put everything into is fine. I quit my corporate job about a year and a half ago to chase my dreams. I designed and launched a kids fitness brand, and it was going great. I paid fair wages. I built relationships. And then overnight, the cost just more than doubled. My margins were gone. You know, my business doesn't pay for a yacht or a private jet. It pays for our daughter's swim classes. It covers groceries. It helps with babysitters for date nights. This isn't just numbers on a policy sheet. It's real people, real jobs, real families, and now I'm back at square one.
Another story of a person's life destroyed by Donald Trump. And I posted a story about someone else's business destroyed a couple days ago. It's already happened, and people's businesses are being destroyed because they cannot afford to pay the tariffs. Forget putting the cost over to the consumer, like the consumer pays for tariffs. As we know, anyone who understands economics knows that China doesn't pay for the tariffs. You and I pay for the tariffs. But it didn't even get to that point. She can't afford the margins. She can't afford to pay her employees. She can't afford to keep her business afloat, and therefore her family is suffering. And we're seeing more and more of this. And we're going to see more and more of this. Unless Donald Trump stops this nonsense, stops this game he's playing, this trade war, this mine's bigger than yours thing he has with China. I mean, we know he has small hands, but enough's enough. He's destroying people's businesses. He's destroying our economy. He's destroying people's lives.
It's a beautiful day to be a black woman. It's a beautiful day to be a black woman. It's a beautiful day to be a black.
So y'all really gonna sit this one out, huh? I mean, the country coming apart at the seams, and y'all sitting up sending out calendar invites, going to brunch. I'm saying, y'all, I mean, your services are needed. The people have finally seen the error of their ways. I mean, take this brother, for instance.
I voted for my own job like a fool. I won't do that again.
I'm just saying, y'all, can you provide for me a better example of before and after than this?
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. Trump has put his tariffs all over the place.
Sure did.
I've been trying to understand them. I don't.
You voted for
it because of it. Donald Trump just cost me $20 million or whatever.
20
he did.
20 mil?
Maybe don't be on the golf course.
Everyone loves you. And
now don't
I just want to say you're a true hero for this country. I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the f is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor?
No!
Because Donald Trump is the nominee against Joe Biden. I won't just vote for him. I will walk over broken glass to vote for him.
Worse than
His
Legos.
giant
We
tariff
gonna be on
policy
fire.
dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally.
Lord! Now going back to where we started, at the very end of the first video, you can see that we are being summoned. Our voice is needed. We are the movers and shakers of change in this country. We are at the precipice of disaster. So y'all, what we gonna do? I'm with it if y'all with it. Let's get it.
But what they're doing is effectively taking advantage of what people have been doing for the last 30 to 40 years. And that is making sure that we subsidize the Chinese economy by shipping cheap trash products over here in the United States of America, choosing not to do business and circulate your dollar in our own country. And it's the same as when you see black people say, well, black culture will never really survive because the dollar leaves out of their economy, it leaves out of their neighborhood within hours, but it circulates for days and even for weeks within other communities. It's the same thing, except for you doing it on a national scale, you're doing it on an international scale. And so what they'll do is say, no, we tried. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That's a lie. I can tell it's a lie. And the worst part about it is you see a lot of liberals and Democrats, and they sitting here saying that, oh my God, we stand with China, we support China. What you don't know is if, And a lot of them are young. So you can't really, trip about it and hold it against them because they just stupid. They're young. They don't know any better. They haven't lived through a time where the majority of auto manufacturing jobs and manufacturing jobs in other places, like I remember Whirlpool manufacturing. I remember a lot of places. And growing up here in Detroit, I know that the rest of our jobs have left because we really had no industry. And that's the reason why we started to move towards, instead of politicians doing this years ago, because they knew that this was happening. Instead of us moving towards making sure that we nip this in the bud, what's happened is we basically expedited jobs and then we became a buyer economy, which is one of the reasons why we got all the leverage, because 40% of all of the world's goods is consumed by the United States of America. And that's why we are the most powerful country in the world. And so when you start to think about it, then China started to, once Trump got in office the first time, because he learned his lesson, because Biden came in and messed up everything that we had going on. So even when we had the tariffs on against China, all they did was use their leverage and bully the rest of the world to accept their products and then ship here to the United States of America. And so they had a little bit of a markup, but not really, but they destroyed the economies of the rest of the world. So what we've basically done was build up their economy. And then luckily they still became interdependent on us because we're the biggest carnivorous people in the world. We subsidized their economy, we built them up, but now they need us in order to trade. And so what Trump has basically done is isolate China, because the rest of the world chooses to do business with us instead of doing business with China, because they don't get anything out of the relationship with China, because China is effectively doing what they did to the United States of America on a smaller scale to the rest of the world, and basically killing their economy, killing their jobs. And so what the rest of the world has done, because China has reached out to places like Australia and said, hey guys, we need to stand up against the United States of America. Australia.
What do these tariffs mean to you? Things are going to be more expensive. A lot of companies are going to be letting people go because the costs are higher. Why is Trump doing this? In theory, it's to try and create American jobs, but he's not doing that right, because number one, you would target specific industries. Number two, you would give everyone a heads up. Number three, you would give them transparency about how long they have to plan. They're a bad idea being implemented terribly, ineffectively. It's value destruction on a scale I cannot believe. I am shocked that even Trump is dumb enough to do this. And I'm sorry for all the people that are going to be suffering at the grocery store, at their place of employment, or because, in my opinion, this just elevated the chance of a recession.
Trump dropped the tariffs for other countries, but raised the tariffs on China 125%. There's been some speculation going around that he is doing this on purpose so that he can buy low when the markets are crashing, so that they can all buy low, and then when markets improve, they can make money off of the markets. That is actually starting to make a little bit of sense, because it was only a few days ago that the market started to improve by over 1,300 points. And that day, Trump did something to deliberately crash the market again. So he is doing it on purpose. This is manufactured. There is no plan for the working person. This plan is for his donors and his buyers to be able to buy low so that they can scoop up all the stocks while they're low and then make a profit on them later if the economy improves. And as I'm making this video, the small amount of stocks that I have already gone up 5%, 11%. They are figuring out how they can control the market. He knows that by making these moves, his buddies can buy when the stock is low, and then they can sell them off before he crashes it again. This is completely manufactured, and it is not for us. It's for them.
Find that I do better in bad markets. I buy things in bad markets. And you can't do that in a great economy. You can't buy it. Either you're going to buy it very expensively or not be able to buy it at all. So there's a lot of opportunity, I find, in the bad time.
Now, what does this mean still for working people? Well, think about it. They're crashing the markets, which affect people's 401k, which is retirement. They've had a hard time going against Social Security, so this is the back door to that. People still cannot retire because their 401ks are now so low. So they're holding off on retirement because of that. They are passing legislation like they are in Florida to make it so 14-year-olds can work in factories overnight, even on school nights. They're also cutting education to make it so people do not become smart enough to get high-tech jobs. If you are not smart enough to get a high-tech job, then you are going to end up settling for working in a factory, settling for picking cotton in the fields, settling for getting low pay and low wage jobs. just to get by. You will be desperate enough to do that. That's what they're already trying to do with the poor by cutting all of these social programs that people need in order to survive. Veterans need in order to survive. They want you desperate enough to replace the people that they have deported. That is the end game here. That is what they want for you. So for all of you people who are not billionaires cheering this on, saying that everybody is going to be prosperous, they are literally creating an environment where you will not be. Understand what the situation is here, because it's not good.
This is not the reel that I was hoping to release today. For those unaware, Trump has imposed significant tariffs on the countries where the majority of the shoes that you wear today are made. So how do these tariffs impact our small business? Well, we just want to bring you these lifestyle walking shoes. But to bring the shoes across the border is going to cost us an extra 40 grand. 40 grand just to cross the border. That's wild. Tariffs smacked us in the face, but they're not going to stop us.
Our country was the strongest, believe it or not, from 1870 to 1913. You know why? It was all tariff-based. We had no income tax. Then in 1913, some genius came up with the idea of let's charge the people of our country, not foreign countries that are ripping off our country.